caused it? We understand there was a heavy downpour there. Possibly that might have led to the collapse.
Okay, now we cannot actually know what happened, but according to those who work at the site, they explained that because yesterday there was a heavy rain that fell all over the place, and that left the soil to be soaked. That leads to that disaster yesterday.
Last night, do we? Yeah, we know that the police are trying in a bid to rescue people. Do we know any more about that?
Okay, so they are on it because today too is also raining, so everybody has hide themselves somewhere else. But now the rain has gone down. We are trying to find out or to get that place and find out what has actually happened next.
This mining site we are talking about, how big is the area?
Okay, it's very large area, but those people have set a ghetto that they've taken a pit underground, and they always pass there to work underground. So those are not working on surface, but rather underground workers.
How do we know how big this pit is? I'm told there's a pretty deep pit.
Yeah, it's very deep and it's very wide, but the pit itself is not too wide. It's so small that they entered before they get to the widest area. And that place has been broke so that those coming out cannot come out. And we don't know whether they are still alive or they are dead. But I hope this time when we get there, we will get more information about how the police and the security have best rescued them or how they have tried their best to help those underground now.
And these are illegal miners, correct?
Yeah, please.
They are illegal miners?
Yes, please.
Okay. This happened last night?
Yes, last night around 9:30 to 10:30 p.m.
Wow. At that time, people were still mining?
Yes, they have evening miners and daytime miners. So after the day, people close around 6 to 6:30, and the evening people also continue from 6:30 to daybreak.
I see. And this is an area in the region where I understand a lot of illegal mining activities happen.
Yes.
Is that true? I mean, this is generally an area for illegal miners.
Yes, Prisia is a general area for legal miners, and you know, Prisia is wherever you go is a mining area. Everywhere in Prisia is a mining area.
Let me ask you. I mean, I'm sure you heard about the Galamsey campaign launched by Peter Mewu and the Ministry of Mines and Natural Resources. Is this having any impact at all in the Huni Valley area, or people are still going ahead with illegal mining activities?
No, it also has an impact in Prisia Huni Valley area, but the issue is that those working underground with certificates, those people are still working because those people are not distracting the land or destroying the land, and they doesn't destroy the river water bodies too. So that has enabled them or permit them to work for some time. But the surface miners and the Alovia people have break since the campaign started.
Okay. Quickly, I want to say a big thank you to you for helping us understand what is happening there in that area, the Prisia Huni Valley area. Kweku Azuma is with Energy FM in Prisia, following this story for us. 14 illegal miners are still feared dead right now because the collapse last night. Only 5, we understand, have managed to escape that particular mine collapse. We'll be hearing from the police shortly. They confirm what is happening. A rescue exercise underway to try and rescue a few more of the miners. But I'm joined in the studio by my colleague Kweko Supepra, who has done several stories on mining and illegal mining in particular in the Western region. Has done several documentaries on this, and it is with our features editor here at JoyNews. Kweko, you heard him say that in the evening people were mining. I was surprised that you weren't.
No. It's normal for them to work in the evening, especially when John Peter Mewu is doing a campaign to stop illegal mining at this time. Of course, the people who are doing the surveillance will not be there in the evening. So the night presents a very fine opportunity for them to go and do their job. And the figures that you find being thrown around.
Yeah, the police confirmed to us 14 are still trapped, 5 were rescued. So in other words, you're talking about in a region of 20
All of
people.
these are cursory presumptive figures. You know why? Because if you went to Prestia Bondi, which is the headquarters of Galamsey in, I should say, in the entire country, they don't do Galamsey anywhere in Ghana beyond what they do in Prestia Bondi. And in Nsuta, you realize that they go in gangs and they have ghettos. So there are pockets of holes dug deep into the belly of the earth. Now, when it rains, water seeps through these systems and then it caves in. You are never sure how many people are in there at any time because it is an unorganized, unstructured shift system. In the conventional mining system, when you go underground, you are given sort of a ticket, a chart or a card, which you return to the person on the surface when the shaft brings you back, and then you log in. It shows that you are out. In this non-conventional mining system, there's no login and there's no log out.
So nobody can tell how many people are in the pit at the one particular
When it happened in 2009,
how many people died?
At Dunkwa of Fin.
How many people died then?
Some said 200, some said 100, some said 50. But as we stood there and observed the rescue, was it a rescue exercise? The examination, they're just scooping human bodies out of the mud. Nobody was alive. And today, it would be a miracle to find any living soul within those pits. Surprisingly, if you moved a few 100 meters away from where these 40 have died now, you will find people working in Galamsey mines. This also be a survival issue, and because they would just rationalize it and tell you that the fact that you have accidents on our roads doesn't mean people don't sit in cars. So this is an eternal challenge that will be an albatross on our necks unless we find the right approach in dealing with it. They will continue to work at night, and the reason the conventional miners do not die, quotes and unquotes, in such pits is because their pits are indented. The slope is not that sharp. So when it rains, it will not naturally cave in. These illegal miners, they don't indent their pits.
They just dig a pit.
They just excavate. They just scoop the soil and use the dynamite to crush the rocks and then go for the gold. Because of this lack of regulation and observation for the safety protocols that would ensure that your slope is within a certain measurement, they just dig it, and when with the least of threat from water or from any other source, it just caves in. And usually they do embankments. So if there is, Galamsey operates with, you do Galamsey with water. You have water being pumped into the system, the champagne running, and mercury just withholding the gold and amalgamating it. Water that is used as tailings beyond the hole that has been dug can also seep through it, especially when it rains, so that the volume of water in that tailings dam that has been created can itself cause the people to die. And I've been hearing that it's been raining in the western region for about 12 to 24 hours or 48 hours since.
And my one of the amazing things I heard, he says they have a shift system. Some come in the morning, others come in the evening. They work till the following morning. But clearly, from what we're hearing and what you've just been explaining, you don't have the structures to protect life and protect property. You've been to these areas. You have deep contacts in these areas, and I know that for them, there's even a spiritual dimension to the deaths. That occur on a daily basis. We are told in these areas where Galamsey is prominent.
That is another subject in itself. And for instance, there are stories that even with the conventional miners, they sometimes make sacrifices, blood sacrifices, to the gods or to whoever controls gold, so that when blood is spilled at the end of every year, even for the conventional miners, they do that in respect for the traditional authorities and in respect for that.
I see.
For that myth. Now, for the illegal small-scale miners, there is a held belief that when blood, especially human blood, spills into the ground, gold is commanded towards the area.
And this is a belief that the illegal miners have?
This is a belief that is established amongst them.
I see.
It is for years known to be true and right.
Amongst
them. Because you see, for years, anywhere people die in Galamsey pits, the next few months, gold appears. Whether the gold was there before and they didn't find it, or it just appeared because somebody died, we never know. It's also believed that sometimes Galamsey operators deliberately cause some of these incidents to happen so that people will die, so that there will be more gold.
Because of this belief system?
Because of this belief system.
And you're not saying this because you've heard.
No.
You did a documentary about this sometime when the Galamseyers themselves were telling you that this is what happens, this is what they do.
This is a deep thing that people have. And there are so many stories of things that people have seen going underground to mine that gives credence to the fact that when you make some of these sacrifices, gold comes. You know, there is gold almost everywhere in Ghana. Sometimes the gold patterns are seen on the maps. The conventional miners have these maps. The Galamsey people do not have these maps, but they are able to trace, to identify where there will be semblance of gold, and they mine. Incidentally, sometimes where people, the conventional miners with their scientific drills and knowledge, have declared low grade. Think about this. They've declared the areas low grade. It means that they have of no significant commercial value. Galamsey people go there and mine for some years. People begin to die, 1 or 2, and eventually they take a hold of that place. And then the conventional miners begin to take them off. A place that was hitherto declared as low grade.
I see.
So it's an interesting superstition that exists there, and the people believe it. And you know what faith does? When you believe a thing, it may happen to you. There's still no scientific correlation between this, but I have heard from several managers of conventional mining platforms that even them, once in a year or twice in a year under the cover of night, might do one bull sacrifice.
I see.
Whether it's just at the instance of the chief or traditional authorities there to sacrifice to the gods that pertain there or not, or just to also re-echo that faith that exists amongst Galamsey operators to also have more gold. I cannot understand.
And as we speak, there's still rescue underway in the Prisia-Huni Valley area. The police commander for the place, the commander Achu Jinoku, has told us that they don't have implements to look for the individuals and look for potential survivors of this, but they are relying on the legal miners themselves to assist them in the rescue because they don't have fire and rescue on standby. The police officers who are available are not enough to help dig out bodies, if there are bodies or people who might have survived.
They may have to resort to help from Golden Star Resources
because it's close.
But at Prisia, the Galamsey operators are not very much good friends with Prisia, Golden Star Resources.
He says right now they're relying on the Galamseyers themselves to help with the rescue of the people, but these people will not be trained.
These people
in rescue
go deep and they dig their own tunnels and enter into the gangways, the underground installations of the conventional mines.
I see.
So Nsuta, maybe a few.
That in itself is very risky because if they are blasting in there, people can die.
So sometimes they can tell the conventional miners, please don't blast, we are close.
I see.
Or they enter into some garages there. When they enter into these gangways and try to look for the gold, because they do not observe those protocols, and if you have ever gone underground, you will find that for the conventional miners, they have ways of keeping the rocks intact.
Yeah, they have props.
Yes, and they will nail it up there to keep it intact.
Yeah, to hold it from falling.
These galamsey,
they just dig the ground.
They just dig through and dig through. They have their own way. They will use teak or wooden planks, strong ones, to hold it. But for how long would that hold?
Would that hold? I mean, the final comment on this. This is happening. This number of death is happening at the time when the war on galamsey is supposed to be raging, and yet, from what we've heard, it doesn't appear as if in that Huni Valley area, an area you say is very known to be a headquarters of illegal mining, people are still doing this in their numbers during the day, in the evening. Is this an indication that possibly we are not winning this war as we've been made to believe?
The war, with the strategy that I've seen John Peter Amewu implement, will not be won. Shamefully, it won't. And I have said this, and I have repeated it, and I'll say it right again. It won't be won. Reason is this: this strategy has been used before. It didn't work.
The crackdown.
I mean, I was with Honorable Inusa Fuseni, with the military and the police, and we went to millions of galamsey sites.
Even in that case, equipment, you seize it and bend them.
All these have been done before. So why are you doing it again? The day Peter Amewu said he was going to use drones to fight galamsey, I said he didn't know what he was doing. Maybe he had not even been to galamsey site before. Because the problem with galamsey is not because we don't know where they are. Dr. Otten, the former Environment and Science Minister, I've forgotten his name, Otten, that's what I remember, flew in a helicopter all through Prestia, through Obuasi, and saw the devastation. His expression when he came down was that this is a crime against humanity. He came back to Accra, and that was it. And there has to be a consensus effort to fight this. President John Mahama, in a convoy, stopped on the Ankobra River to Prestia, saw the galamsey people working a few kilometers away. He said, we have to stop this, and he went on to do his campaign. Sent Nsuta Fuseni to come and do all that he did. It didn't work. Why? Because it takes more than, just imagine this, somebody who is willing to go deep inside the belly of the earth, 2 kilometers. When we say they have gone underground, sometimes it's 2 kilometers, sometimes 1 kilometer. And
they dig that simply using your hands.
Yes, and all the...
and you can see that in the background. These are the implements they use to dig.
This is not the kind of galamsey I'm talking about now.
This is the
surface mining galamsey.
But will they use the same implements to dig the tunnel? Yes. Or will they use excavators?
No, an excavator will not be able to dig a small...
So they're using shovels and pickaxes,
and chisels and chiseling
to dig 2 kilometers of tunnel underground.
They have... Usually where they do that is because they just want to connect to the underground installation of an established mining company like Golden Star.
I see.
So this person is willing to go there without any personal protective tools.
Yeah, just like we're seeing. I mean, just wearing some...
Do you think that this guy is afraid of a gun?
No. This guy is wearing just a panty.
He's not afraid of a soldier. He's not afraid of... He has put his very life at risk.
Yeah.
So when you tell him that I'm bringing in soldiers to move you out, please.
It might leave for a few days, but return once you're gone. I mean, Kweku, thank you very much for that insight. But we've been speaking to the Prisia Huni Valley commander, that's Superintendent Achu Jinoku, about this latest tragedy in the area. He confirmed the number of trapped, fear dead, and also those who are believed to have been rescued. Listen to.
Yeah, according to our investigation and from the committee chairman, Mr. Riku Kuma, he gave us 14 trapped and 2 interrogation we were able to talk to 5 of those unhurt from the pit. They managed to escape the death. So we were able to talk to 5 of them, but what happened? So they told us that they were coming to eat. They came for their supper, and they had a sound or a noise. So they realized the 2 pits cast in, and those coming up, those behind were trapped. There were about 14, and the rest escaped unhurt. And there are many, but in fact we were able to talk to this morning.
So the fear is that 14 of them are still in the pit?
Exactly.
I see. Is there any effort underway to attempt to rescue the 14 still trapped in the pit?
Yes. When we got there, according to the search party down there searching for those missing ones. But as of now, no single body has been retrieved. So we assume that they all are now dead or trapped in the pit.
Do we know the conditions that might have, triggered this collapse? Was it heavy rain? That's what we've heard so far.
Anyway, of late it has been raining. Even yesterday, the whole day it rained throughout, and this morning, serious one. So the place was crowded. So I don't know. I cannot determine that it's the cause of the rain or hot.
What do we know about who owns this pit?
You mean the owners?
Yes.
Yes, we are looking for them. We didn't meet them. But however, those who are working there, we're able to talk to them and they give them their names to us. So we are looking for them as well to help us assist us in the investigation.
But this pit is it an illegal mining pit?
Yeah, they call it a Kube Krum small scale mining site at Nsuta near Prestia. That's their name. I don't know whether it's illegal or it's legal. So you're here to confirm that so you get the owners, sir.
Okay. And so do you have enough men and support digging and in an attempt to rescue people?
No, we are not doing that. They are supporting the police. I mean, the guys over there, these Gandhi boys, they are assisting the police. They couldn't go there. They know the area, so they are there in the pit. It's about 80 meters deep underway.
So this must be a pretty deep pit, then.
Exactly.
You need all the help you can get. I don't know if you've alerted your colleagues in the fire and rescue to assist you in this endeavor.
Not really. We are not from the site. Not that we are working on to see how we can coordinate and get them removed. Yeah, according to our investigation.
And we're bringing the very latest on this as we go on here on the pulse, because we understand the rescue mission is still ongoing there. Once we get the very latest, we'll bring that to you. We took a short break and we'll return. It's still here on the pulse. We'll bring you the story of the rescue that the mental health authorities embarked on the Central Region, plus also have a discussion on early childhood education, plus also mathematics. I'm sure you've been following the Brilliant Science, the National Science and Maths quiz. Well, people are now taking keen interest in mathematics, but generally on education. But what role does early childhood education play in all that? Join us when we return from the break.